One of the most important jobs of a youth baseball coach is to prepare your team for the game. And one of the best times that you can do this is your pregame speech. But during your pregame speech, have you ever felt yourself struggling to find your words or stumbling over your words, or you just really don't know what to say? Trust me, this is all too common and a lot of coaches struggle with this. But don't worry, in today's Bullpen Bulletin, I'm giving you my top 3 tips on how to give the best pregame speech so you can prepare your team for every moment. Hey team, I'm Coach Hart, this is Building Better Baseball, and this is the best place for baseball education. If we've never met before and this is your first video, then welcome to the team. If we've already met, then welcome back. And before we get started, I have a free 2-hour practice plan that's linked down below that you can take with you, so be sure you grab it before you go. Now, let's get into these top 3 tips for your best pregame speeches. So the first tip for your pregame speech is you want to validate. You want to validate their feelings. Your players are probably feeling nervous, they have some butterflies in their stomach right before the game, and it's really important to validate how they're feeling and say it's okay to feel that. Everyone feels that. It's really important to let them know that even the highest level of athletes, Olympic athletes, professional athletes, everyone, if you're a human being, everyone has those feelings of butterflies right before a competition. Some kids might feel insecure about feeling butterflies, like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this, I should be ready for the game. And that's just not true. Especially for a young kid, it's really important to let them know that it's okay to feel these feelings. Everyone has these little butterflies or nervousness right before the game. And the second part of this is to let them know that it's good that they feel those things because that means that they care. They care about the result of the game. They care about how they're going to perform in the game. If they didn't care, then they probably wouldn't feel any of these things because they just don't care, right? So since they are feeling these feelings of nervousness and excitement and butterflies, it's important to let them know that that's good because that means that they care about the result and they care about how they're going to perform in the game. Now that we've validated how they feel and they know that it's okay to feel those feelings, we're going to move on to number 2. The number 2 tip after you validate is you want to highlight. The biggest reason that they're probably feeling nervous or having butterflies is they feel like they're not prepared for the game. And it's your job as a coach to highlight the fact that they are prepared. They've already done all of the work in practices and they've been playing baseball. It's not like they've never played before, right? They already know how to play. They've already put in the work in the drills and the practices, and they are prepared. So it's really important to remind them of the fact that they are ready, they are prepared, they've already put in the work, and it's your job to highlight that fact for them because right before the game, they have all of these feelings and thoughts. They might forget about all of the work that they've done. So as a coach, it's really important to highlight that fact of they've already put in the work and they are prepared to play in this game. Another thing you want to highlight for them is they're not just playing for them. Right? They are playing for them, but they also have a team. They are part of a team and they are playing for their team. And also everybody that's involved. They're playing for you as the coach. They're playing for their parents who drive them back and forth to every practice and every game. They're playing for more than just themselves. And most of the time, young kids forget about this fact of they kind of have this vision of I'm only playing for myself and it's only about me. But when they start thinking about everybody else that's involved, their teammates, their coaches, their parents, that helps calm them down and helps them feel like they're not alone. In that moment right before the game when they're feeling all these feelings, they might feel like they're alone. It's really important to highlight the fact that they are not alone. Their coaches, their parents, and their teammates are there with them, playing with them, and cheering them on. And everybody has their back. So the number 2 tip is to highlight. You want to highlight the fact that they are prepared, that they've already put in all of the work in the drills and the practices. You want to highlight the fact that it's not just themselves, that they're playing for more than just themselves, their team, their parents, and their coaches, and they are not alone. And everybody that's involved in this game has their back and wants them to succeed. The number 3 tip is after you validate and after you highlight, you want to inspire. And the biggest thing that comes to mind for me when I talk about inspire is the word nervous. Almost every youth player and really everybody in general uses the word nervous to describe those little butterflies that they feel right before a competition. And getting into some psychology about it, the word nervous creates stress. It releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone in the body. So when you talk about being nervous about something, that is a negative word that induces stress. So when they're talking about being nervous, they're really talking about they're being stressed. And that's not what we want on the baseball field. So if you change the word nervous to excite, being excited, having excitement, that induces dopamine instead of cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Dopamine is basically the happy hormone. If you change the word nervous to excitement or excited, that creates happiness within the body, and it changes the whole dynamic and the whole mindset of your youth player. So every time that they say nervous, you want to say, no, you're excited. You're excited to be playing. You're excited to be out in this field. You're excited to be able to perform for everybody who's watching. You're excited. And when they keep on hearing that word excited, that releases the dopamine, and that makes them more happy and more excited to get into the game. So just that little change of the word nervous to excited takes it from a stress response to a happy response. And that's really important for a youth player to understand, because most young kids, they don't understand the psychology and the mindset behind it. But for you as a coach, if you just change that little word from nervous to excited, that will automatically create more happiness and excitement in reference to those butterflies that they're feeling. Another thing you want to do to inspire is you want to let them know to not make the moment too big. You have to remember that it's still a baseball game. You've played baseball before, whether there's one person in the stands or there's a whole stadium. It's still a baseball game. You're still using a baseball and a bat, and you're hitting the ball and you're playing the game, right? So in your mind, don't make the moment too big. Don't put all that extra pressure on yourself and make the moment too big when in reality, it really is just another baseball game, right? And the last thing to remind your players is when you're actually in the game, use your breath. Use deep breaths to calm yourself down. And you can even actually say, I'm calm, I've done this before. It is amazing how calm you will be when you actually tell yourself that you are calm. If you're up to bat and you're taking a step out and you're getting ready, take a deep breath and literally say, I'm calm, I've done this before. And then step into the box and get ready to go. That little phrase of telling yourself that you're calm and you've done this before, that's just a little reminder of being calm and reminding yourself that you have done this before and you're ready to perform. So that's it for these 3 tips. The first one, validate. You want to validate how they're feeling and tell them that it's okay. Highlight the fact that they are prepared, that they've put in the work, and highlight the fact that they're playing for more than just themselves. And the last one, to inspire, change the word nervous to excitement to go from stress to happy. And to let them know that it is just a baseball game. Don't make the moment too big in your mind. And when you're actually in the game and you're feeling those butterflies, take a step back, take a deep breath, even 2 or 3, and literally tell yourself, I'm calm, I've done this before. That'll loosen you up and that'll get you ready for the moment. So I really hope this video kind of created a little framework for you to use for your pregame speeches. If you find yourself struggling for words or you don't really know what to say, I really hope you can use this framework to kind of take yourself through those pregame speeches and really motivate your team and really prepare them for the game. And before we go, don't forget to grab your free 2-hour practice plan that's linked down in the description below. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next week for another edition of the Bullpen Bulletin.